Hey guys, it's Josh here, and in this video, I'm going to give you a method that makes controlling your anxious mind stupid easy. So, in this video, I'm actually going to share with you a very simple method for you to reprogram your subconscious mind. So, if you are someone who experiences a lot of anxiety and it feels like your anxiety is out of control, or your overthinking is just out of control, your negative thoughts are out of control, then this method that I'm going to share with you will make controlling your mind stupid easy. And I'm really going to break it down so it is so simple that you can't possibly fuck it up. So let's start, right? This is called the mind launch method, right? The mind launch method, right? Now, this is something that I teach my clients. It is something that I know works. And when you see it, you're going to see that it really just makes a lot of sense. And so, one thing I want to share with you before I dive in is this book here, right? This book is called Be Here Now by a spiritual master named Ram Dass, right? And he's passed away now. But the whole concept is centered around this idea of being here now. And when you are here in the now, you are essentially above or beyond any thinking, right? If you can be totally present in the now, in the moment, you can get beyond your mind, right? Your mind doesn't really exist in the now. You can completely still the mind, right? And it's going to be a core concept that I'm going to walk you through now, right? So I just want to write it down here as a little bit of a checkpoint. Be here now, okay? This is important. You've got to learn how to be here now. But before we get to that, right, I want to just walk you through how your mind actually gets programmed in the first place. So the way that your mind actually gets programmed in the first place is like this, right? You have a thought, right? And then you have a feeling, and then a thought and a feeling create a belief. So, an example of this is if you think feelingly about something, you believe it, right? If you have a thought and then that thought is emotionally charged or you feel strongly about that thought, you develop a belief, okay? And so, the way to change your beliefs, right, to change your mind, is to change your thoughts and your feelings, okay? And to start to create new beliefs, all right? So right now you might be believing that you're always going to have anxiety, or you're never going to get better, or you're not good enough, or whatever it is. You might be believing these negative things about yourself, these negative stories. You're never going to have the money, you're never going to have the relationship, right? You're never going to have the things that you want in life. And so you're having a thought, which is, I'm not going to have these things. And then you're feeling strongly about it. You're feeling emotionally invested in that thought, so much so that it becomes a belief. Okay? And then what happens with our belief is we have this little part of our brain, which is called the RAS, right? Now, the reticular activating system, it's a part of your brain, which it basically is the bridge. If you look up scientific, papers and stuff like that, you'll find probably a lot of different things about the RAS, but the most hardened scientific proof around the RAS is that it acts as a kind of bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind. It's kind of like a bridge between, yeah, your conscious mind, what you're aware of, and then your unconscious. So what's in your unconscious mind. And so with your RAS, it basically scans your environment for belief about what you have in your unconscious. So if you have these unconscious or subconscious beliefs, your RAS will scan and pick them up, like look for confirmation of those beliefs. So, for example, if you believe that you're never going to have a good relationship, you're more likely to experience things that confirm that you will never have a good relationship. Like, oh, I got rejected by that person again, or I tried to be social and I got really anxious. Or if you have a belief that you're never going to have enough money, you're always going to look at your bank account and you're always going to think you've not got enough, right? If you have a belief that you are just not good in social settings, like you find it hard to be social and to be confident being social, and you always get nervous and maybe you get jealous of others. If you have a belief that says I'm just not a social person, or I'm introvert, or I'm this or I'm that, you will experience more of that, right? So really what you experience in your beliefs, like what beliefs you have, you will experience, because your RAS, your brain literally will scan the environment to pick them up, right? And so it's amazing what the power of belief actually does. And you just need to ask yourself this question, like, do I? You can look for proof of this in your own life. Look for what beliefs do I have and how am I constantly confirming them. I'm sure that you can just think about a few things and realize that you are always confirming your beliefs, right? This is why, for example, it's very hard to convince people who are religious that their religion is not the right way because, they just believe it so much that they see confirmation of it everywhere. And so, it's hard to convince a Christian that Islam is the way, and it's hard to convince an Islamic person that Christianity is the way, because they're both so convicted in their beliefs, because they're just surrounded by their beliefs. So they would go to church, or they would go to, oh, fuck, this is bad. I don't even know what the thing is. What is it? It's like a temple. Oh man, I swear I'm more cultured than this. Anyway, I don't know what the Islamic, what is it called? I do know, it's in the back of my head, but I can't think of it now. Anyway, I'm just gonna have to cop this embarrassment. But you get what I'm saying. So you can't convince them to change their beliefs, because they're always surrounded by their beliefs, and they go to places and be around people and have community, and just everywhere they've built a life around their beliefs, right? And so they start to get this external confirmation of their beliefs. So here's how confirmation works, right? It can work positively or negatively. So let me just write that, right? Positively or negatively, okay? So what I mean by this is your RAS doesn't care. It's not biased, right? It takes whatever belief that you have and it looks for it. And so you can have positive beliefs, but you can also have negative beliefs. So for example, some people tell me that they're not confident. Like, I'm so like not confident, right? But they are quite confident that they are not confident. Like, they're really willing to like tell me like I'm really not confident. You know what I mean? They're telling me like I'm really not confident. And it's like they're quite confident about this idea that they're not confident. So that would be like a negative belief, but they move towards that and they actually get convicted in that, right? So this is what happens is, right, confirmation. So let's put confirmation here again, because that's what I was just saying. Your RAS picks up confirmation and basically, adjusts your reality based off your beliefs through external confirmation. Now that confirmation can go positive or it can go negative. Okay. So for example, if you have negative beliefs, you start seeing negative shit everywhere. And then you become, you actually, I'll put here, you actually can get confidence. Like, you get this negative confidence. Another way to look at it is conviction, right? Confidence and conviction. Same thing with the positive beliefs, right? Confidence slash conviction, okay? So it doesn't matter what you believe. If you believe positive things, then you're going to become convicted in those things. So someone who you look at and you think that person's just so lucky, like they just always seem to get what they want, and that things are always working out for them. I can bet you that they have just got really positive beliefs about themselves, and that's why they're just becoming convicted in it, and they're so confident in this positive direction because they just have positive belief, right? Now, not everyone who looks confident is confident. You'd be amazed how many people I work with who they work with me, and I'm like, man, this person looks like they've got their shit together. Like, this person looks like kind of cool, and like they've kind of got their shit together appearance-wise. And they look like they're part of the cool group. But then they've got like deep insecurities and anxieties. And so, yeah, it's not just about what you see externally, but you can, people who do tend to have like success and they sustain that success over a long period of time, you can bet that they have got good thoughts, good feelings, good beliefs, which leads to good confidence and good conviction. If you self-sabotage, like if, some people get success and then they lose it, right? And if that happens, right, it's probably got something to do with these beliefs, some kind of a self-sabotaging belief, right? And that can then lead to this, negative confidence and negative conviction. Oh, whatever I try to do, it just never works, right? And so, yeah, this is the mind launch method, right? So, what is this? How do you actually apply this to your life, right? Well, we're going to work on changing the thoughts and changing the feelings. And we change the thought and we change the feeling. So we want to basically hijack this area, right? Don't worry about that area. We just want to hijack this area, right? We want to change the thoughts, change the feelings, and then eventually, yeah, obviously, we're changing the beliefs. When we change the thought and we change the feeling, we change the belief. Okay. Now, it's not just the thought, right? So you're not just changing the thought. Lots of law of attraction, manifestation people just tell you change your thoughts, but it's not about just changing your thoughts. You've got to change your feelings as well, right? This is so important. You've got to change your feeling as well. So, for example, if you start to think positively, and you start to get a roll on, you're thinking positively, things are good, and then something happens which makes you feel bad. If you don't have control of your feelings, if you start to feel bad, you'll start to think bad. And if you start to think bad, you'll start to feel bad, right? And so you get stuck in this kind of loop, okay? So you've got to learn how to change the thought, but you've also got to learn how to control the feeling, right? Because when you do have negative feelings coming up, because you're a human, you can't let those negative feelings hijack you, okay? This is why, this affirmation stuff and like manifestation, law of attraction stuff doesn't work, because people forget about this side of things. They're just trying to change their thoughts, but they still feel like shit. And so nothing changes. You've got to change your thought and you've got to upgrade your feelings as well. So that's your emotions. You've got to become emotionally in it as well, right? So instead of, for example, let's say, you can have, let's say, negative, right, fear and doubt, right? Or vice versa, right? Doubtful thoughts, fearful feelings. You've got anxiety. That's going to be quite common, right? Or worry, right? Worry thoughts, and then maybe it's like frustration or something like that, right? That's going to be quite common. So what we have to do is we have to change it to, for example, opposite of fear would be, have courage, right? Courage, like, clarity, clear thoughts, courage, right? And the feeling like to trust, right? Because people start to doubt themselves. If you start to have a fearful or a doubtful thought, then you start to feel fearful or doubtful. You start to feel worried. Did I make the right decision? What if I didn't do the right thing? And then you end up back in this loop down here. But you've got to trust that you got to feel trusting, right? Feel faithful. Feel like when you're doing this work, you're trusting it as well. You're trusting it and you're faithful and you're feeling it and you're being courageous. And if you have a setback, it doesn't matter. You just keep moving forward. As soon as you start getting back down into here, you just end up over here again, right? So you've got to stay with this like courage, this trust, and just keep moving forward, right? Install these new positive beliefs, feed them to the RAS, and go up, right? And if you go down as well, here's what you want to do. You want to actually be able to reframe, right? Reframe. So if you have a negative experience, like if I have a negative experience, it's a positive experience. I literally tell myself negative experiences are positive experiences, right? And I'm going to get to this in a second. And this is why, we this book, right? Be Here Now. So what I'm going to do is, this is like a framework, right? This is a method, and hopefully this gives you some understanding. I'm sure it will. Now, I'm going to take it to the next level, okay? Here's the next level. I want to draw a circle because I like circles. So I'm just going to try and just draw a big old circle, right? Let's go circle, 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 and all the way down here. I just like circles. I think that circles are good. The circle represents everything that is, okay? So when you are able to become present, be here now, what you realize, and this is, I'm a meditation teacher. I've done meditation for 15 years. This is what I love, right? When you become present and when you become in the here and the now, you realize everything exists in the here and now. Everything. So what does that mean? Positive exists up here, negative exists down here, all within the whole, all within the now. Everything good and bad, it all happens now. It all exists within this present moment, okay? So if you want to get above your anxious mind, if you want to control your anxious mind, you actually need to realize your positive thoughts and your negative thoughts are allowed. They're just two parts of this whole experience that you're having as a human, right? And now the reason why this is important, when you can be here now and you can be present and you can actually detach from your thoughts, right? Not saying you have to detach forever, but the process of being able to release the grip on your thoughts and on your mind, when you let go of your thoughts and your mind, even if it's just for a moment, you kind of connect with a higher place. You connect with the all, right? The all that is. And you realize that all that is holds everything, the positive and the negative. And when you're actually in that place, which is a place of higher consciousness, you can then choose. So this is what I was saying, right? Reframe. So if I have a negative experience and then I become present and I say to myself, this is the experience I'm having, and I don't attach any meaning to it or story to it. So most people have a bad experience and they say that, oh, because I'm having this bad experience, there's something wrong with me, or I'm never going to make it, or so they stack negative thoughts on top of negative thoughts, right? And so then it's like this just gets really fucking heavy, okay? And you end up being there. But if you can become present and you can be here now, right? You can choose to not add any secondary thoughts, or if you're going to add a secondary thought, you can make it a positive one instead of a negative one. So instead of stacking negative thoughts on top of negative thoughts, you learn to reframe, right, by understanding that you can, and you say to yourself, this negative experience is a positive experience. And examples of that would be like, successful people talk about how you have to always fail forward, right? Like failure is good. And you learn when you're failing, right? Which is true. So if you have a negative experience and you think that you've failed, you just tell yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I learn from this experience? Right? How can I actually take this negative experience and learn from it? I like to think about nature and the trees, right? So people often think that pressure and friction or anxiety is actually bad because it feels like pressure and it feels like it's hard. But if you think about a tree, for a tree to grow, there needs to be a seed. And the seed needs to go into the earth. And then the seed needs to push against the earth to grow into a tree. So the seed actually needs to have pressure against the earth to build a good root system so that the tree can be up. So, if you think that pressure is bad, it's not. It's just helping you build a more strong base. So people with anxiety, they generally don't want to build that strong base, and they're just like, oh my God, I've got anxiety and it's so hard. And I understand it's hard. When you're experiencing it, it's hard, it's difficult, it's challenging. However, if you can reframe and just say, this experience is trying to help me grow, and develop and become a better person and become stronger, then it's the negative experience is balanced out with a positive experience, and you're more whole, you're more connected to a more whole experience, a more balanced experience, right? And it's really that easy, right? It's really stupid easy. So the way that you can actually implement this, I'll give you a little tip, right? 2 tips, right? 2 tips for 2 ideas. Every morning, you write down how you want to think and how you want to feel. So today I am thinking, like today I want this, and today I'm feeling this, or today I am this, today I feel this, or I am this, I feel this. Right? Write that down every single day. Right? I am and I feel. Okay? So that's what you can write down, right? Journal. If you don't already journal, get a journal. Every day write down I am and I feel. Okay? And then whatever you want to be and whatever you want to feel. Okay? And then the second thing is become present, right? There's one little exercise I like to teach people, which is called moments of mindfulness. It's really simple. At multiple points throughout the day, you just take a deep breath, straighten up your spine, and you just become aware. You become mindful of where you are and of who you are and of your experience, right? And you'll notice if you just do that once, it's almost like for a second the thoughts just drop away because you're just here and you're present. You're being here now, right? Which is this book. This is actually a really cool book. Like it's not like a normal book. It's kind of artsy and pretty trippy. Cool book. But yeah, if you can bring yourself to being here now, you realize that everything else just kind of falls away. And so, that's how controlling your anxious mind can just become stupid easy, because you realize that, you're able to get above and beyond the mind. You're able to get into a higher state of consciousness where you can observe both positive and negative aspects of the mind. And you can then choose which way you want to be. So it's almost like you are a character in a game, and instead of being in the character, you're the one controlling the character, right? So if you ever played video games, like I played some video games when I was younger. I don't do it anymore, but you'd create your character and you create it the way that you want it to be, and then what you would do is you would control that character. So I wouldn't be my character, I would be me controlling my character. And this is true for real life as well, right? Most people just walk around as some character that they've just got. But what I'm suggesting is that you can wake up to a higher level of consciousness where you are controlling the character. You control yourself, right? And when you can do that, that's when you can control your anxiety, you can control your mind, and you can actually control and create your reality as well. So if that is interesting for you, what I'll do is I'm going to put a video at the end of this one. So there'll be an option to click a video, and it will link to another video I made on how to actually create your reality, just like I did, right? So, that's a longer video. It's about an hour. But if you want to dive more into this stuff and changing, these things, that would be a great video. So I'll put that one up next and you can go and watch that. Until next time, thanks guys. See you soon.